Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey McIntosh. Welcome to another video where we're going to dive into the world of pour tea. Today I want to talk about something unique, and that is it's all in the details. Paying attention to the small details can make a big impact on helping you make better decisions on understanding is the tea I'm drinking of good quality or not. So I'll share with a few techniques. This is going to be more so not so focused on just the tea, but other things. Maybe you're still learning, maybe you're traveling, maybe you don't have the best palate yet, or maybe you just want to find really good tea, but want to look for other things to look for. What should I be paying attention to in a tea shop? Or what should I be paying attention to when someone is serving me tea or selling me tea? Are there things I can look out for that'll give me a better chance of buying good quality tea? Now, of course, these are all rules of thumbs and everyone is different, so just kind of keep these in the back of your mind and maybe they will be helpful in your journey going forward. There's a few things I was always taught, and I was also very careful when I made tea. If we think about the concept of very good quality tea that is maybe scarce, maybe from old tea trees, and maybe expensive, right? We have to think about how would that tea be treated if being served to others? Would I haphazardly brew this tea and have 4 or 5 teas going at once and let you try one of this tea and one of that tea, not really giving you the opportunity to fully experience and try that tea? Maybe not. And there's also, I've gone to a lot of tea shops and they have all kinds of teas everywhere, and if they're very willing to let you try for free all these different teas, 5, 6, 7 types of teas, we have to think to ourselves, what is the likelihood of that being a very expensive quality tea? To be frank, probably very little to none, right? If the tea is of very good quality, they probably would also want to be very careful at who they share it with, because there's also a big cost to themselves. And if there was a very good tea that everyone cherished and it was scarce and expensive, they probably would have to have you sit down and properly enjoy that tea and properly prepare that tea. And I was also always taught when I was in the last tea shop I was in to never serve clients more than 2, and on some occasions 3 types of tea and no more. And the reason being, if you drank 2 or 3 types of teas, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to tell all of the subtle characteristics of that 4th tea. Not just because of from a palate perspective, maybe some people think they can drink a lot of different flavors, but also from a consumption standpoint. If you're drinking a lot of liquids for 30 minutes to an hour, you probably will get a little full, and you might not be craving to want to drink so much of a particular tea or liquid or beverage, etc. So there's a lot of reasons for that. So there was actually a lot of thought about how much to serve the tea in a tasting. So are they paying attention to that? Are they letting you just drink as much tea as you want? Another thing I often see is the tea set up simple and clean? I've often gone to some tea houses who have 4 or 5 gaiwans out on the table, tea dumped out everywhere, water going everywhere, just filling it up, pouring it out, try this tea, that's so great, this is great. It's very unlikely that's going to be good quality tea. Because think about the mindset of that. Oh, we have plenty of this tea, just take some, fill up. We got this tea, we have that tea, just fill it up, let people try a lot. It's more of a concept of quantity rather than quality. So what is the intention of the individual preparing and serving that tea to you? And do they give you time to sit down and enjoy that tea? Also, with the thought process of understanding good quality tea should be very good on its own, and you don't need to add things to it, like milk or sugar, etc. You should also be very careful if there are snacks or hors d'oeuvres or sweets or candies being served at the tea table. That would also be a concern, because those would strongly affect your palate, so you couldn't pick up on things like the sweet aftertaste or lingering sensation of a particular tea. If there's any snacks or beverages or candies that are served, best so after you have consumed a number of teas, maybe even chosen your selection or teas you want to purchase and take home, and then maybe they'd be a kind gesture to serve you some sweets or snacks afterwards. Sometimes you can get a little hungry after drinking tea. So those are all aspects you should pay attention to. Also, how clean is their teaware? This is particularly important. Because if they're kind of smudgy and dirty and not so clean and things are kind of smudged everywhere and you feel a little, it's not so clean around, well then what kind of care have they gone into sourcing good quality teas if something simple like cleanliness is not a high priority? I was also taught that if you can't be trusted with the small things, how can you be possibly trusted with the major things or the major decisions? So pay attention to all those aspects: cleanliness, intention of brewing of the tea, excessive tea that's being consumed or poured would also be a concern, right? Just small amounts. Don't really need more than 2 or 3 cups to understand the quality of the tea. Let it rest, let it sit, enjoy that tea, move on. Now, another very quite strenuous test, and this will be very difficult for most people to pass, but we always talk that the wash bowl can tell a lot about an individual, and it can tell a lot about a tea shop's quality of tea. I've mentioned on teas, when you brew them, you also notice I don't often use a filter because I want to get as much information as I can from the brewed tea. It should be always translucent. Opaqueness, cloudiness, murkiness, strange oils on top, all undesirable, right? So it needs to be translucent, clarity, bright, clean. And if that philosophy is just translated to tea and liquid, well, what's going in the wash bowl? Well, it's predominantly just tea and liquid, or brewed tea. So shouldn't this also be clean, translucent, clear? So next time you're somewhere, just take a peek into the wash bowl and you will learn a great deal about the quality of the teas they are serving. If their wash bowl is translucent and clean and clarity, it's a very, very good sign. If it's very murky and has some strange colors and oils around it, cloudy and looks nasty, maybe that's something to pay attention to. So those are all some of the things I pay very close attention to when other people are serving me tea. So maybe if I don't in a particular mood, or I'm traveling, or I just ate a bunch of food and it's hard to pick up all the nuances of the tea, I'll pay attention to those more kind of rational things that people do when they prepare tea, because I know if something is very expensive and very cherished, is the individual who's preparing that tea feel it is cherished? Do they feel that it's scarce? Do they feel it is expensive? And are they treating it that way? So those are all things you should pay attention to. Now, of course, not everyone's going to serve the best quality tea to every stranger that comes and visits them. So also be aware of that. Sometimes you need to build rapport. Sometimes you need to build a relationship, even with a shop owner when it's business, right? They want to sell tea. Of course, you want to buy tea. But do they really have every reason to just bring out the best quality tea for you on your first visit? Probably not. So sometimes you need to develop and build that relationship, build trust, and then you'll get a better opportunity to try better and better quality teas. So I do hope that was helpful. Would love to hear some of your kind of tricks and tips when scouting out tea wares or people preparing tea for you. What do you look out for? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And until then, remember to drink a lot of good, tasty tea. And we look forward to seeing you in my next video. Take care.